Hello. Okay, so as the Christmas train at the beginning of November seems to have well and truly left the station, Christmas on the TV in terms of adverts and in most of the shops you go into now is in your face, and with it comes all of those really tempting Christmas treats that maybe you manage to sort of keep away from most of the year, but this time of the year, you know, before you know it, if you're not careful, you're knee deep in mince pies and, you know, your favourite kind of tipples and a whole host of other really sugary, hyper-palatable, highly processed junk foods. So, as human beings, we are wired to love sweet foods. And unless you are a food addict, maybe if you have type 2 diabetes, you know, and your blood sugars really need to come down a bit, there's no reason why every now and again you shouldn't have some sweet foods. After all, as Professor Lustig so fabulously says, sugar is a dose-dependent poison. So that means that a little bit of sugar every now and again is fine for most of us. The problem that we're facing these days is that we don't eat a little bit of sugar every now and again. We eat a lot of sugar all the time, regularly through our days. So what I've decided to do today is to cook some truffles. In fact, I'm not cooking them. I'm not cooking them, they're no cook. I'm making some truffles. And these are a real food, lovely treat that around this time of year might just be a lovely alternative to those kind of nasty, super processed, junky foods that you're finding in the supermarket. So, these contain dates, pitted dates, shredded coconut, sunflower seeds, orange. So I'm going to use the Zest. I'm going to actually grate these using this little microplane. So I'm going to grate some Zest in here and squeeze a bit of juice. Stem ginger. And cacao powder. Okay, which is different to cocoa powder. So this has no added sugar. And this is from, here it is. Okay, so this is full of the lovely flavonoids that you get from raw cacao. And actually, these sort of flavonoids are great for cardiovascular health, blood circulation, and the elasticity of arteries. So this is, you know, this stuff is good for you. Okay, so we're going to add that in too. We've got some coconut oil, really high quality coconut oil. So again, this stuff's great, but there's a real mixture of qualities of coconut oil out there. Really, if you're going to eat it, it should be the best quality you can get. So I go for this extra virgin organic coconut oil, which is expensive, but we try to use it sparingly. And this also adds a really lovely flavour. And then I've got some dark chocolate chunks to add as well. So this is not, you know, this is not a low carb treat. This is not keto. It's not any of those things. This is about real food and having something that's a bit of a treat and that, you know, you will eat sparingly. And salt, finally, pink Himalayan salt, because the salt really does something to that kind of combination of flavours. Okay, so 1 cup of pitted dates into the food processor. And you know, you don't have to be exact with any of these measurements, as any of you who've ever watched me cook before will realise I never am. In goes the coconut. Okay, let's put a few lovely lumps of this stem ginger in here. Okay, I'm going to put 4 of these in. It's making my mouth water. This reminds me of my childhood. My mum used to have stem ginger around sort of Christmas time. It's always really delicious. It's a bit of a treaty thing to have. Okay, so I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Not melted, just, you know, solid at room temperature like this, unless you live in a really hot country or a really hot house. Okay, so let's just get that in there. Here we go. Okay, let's add some of these sunflower seeds. Ken, when I use seeds, I tend to look for the organic versions because, you know, you're gonna, it's just, I just think it's important with a food like a seed that it's organic. So I'm just going to use a couple of handfuls of sunflower seeds, not too much, because it's gonna, if you put too much in, it's gonna change the consistency and make it granular. And then finally, I'm putting half a cup of this cacao powder in. And then when these are made, you'll want to roll them in more of this. So you'll need more. And the recipe will be on my website. I'm going to stop that for a minute. That's sort of started it all off a bit. Now I'm going to add the salt. Schoolgirl error. So this is either the naffest thing I've ever bought in my whole life, or the coolest thing. We've decided as a family we can't decide, but look. Okay, ready? It lights up. My salt grinder. It's a lovely bit. So that's Himalayan salt because it has less impurities in than sea salt, and apparently lots of lovely sort of minerals. Okay, so now I'm going to break some of this clementine zest. Oh my goodness, the smell. Oh, the smell is absolutely divine. That's really good. So actually I did wonder if orange essence might be useful in this, but I had a look and you know what? Looked kind of chemically to me, so I decided we would go for orange zest. That smells just so good. And I don't know about you, there's something about orange which again for me makes me feel really Christmassy. Okay, that's what I'm going to get out of that one. Let's just get that off there. Let's not waste any. And then I'm going to use one of these, which don't look quite as deliciously tasty. My mouth's watering. But, oh no, still lovely. Still really orangey. So I think that you can actually just completely bypass needing to use any sort of essence in terms of flavour and just go for the real thing, which would be the zest of the fruit. Okay, so more hideous noise. I think, and this is personal choice, okay? So, right, so I actually have a Vitamix. I'm lucky enough to have a Vitamix as well. So you could do this in a Vitamix. If you did it in a Vitamix, it would get smoother. Okay, so I make my nut butter in my Vitamix now because it's got the power to make stuff like this really smooth. The only trouble is sometimes if it's not a massive amount, it's quite difficult to cut out, but you know, it's doable. So I'm just going to try a little bit because I can't wait. So let's try a little bit on here. Do you want to try some? Okay. Oh my goodness, that really, really good. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a teaspoon. I'm going to make them quite small. I'm going to pop a bit more of this lovely cacao powder into just a tub, not too much. Okay, this is the simplest way to roll them in the cocoa powder. Press out those lumps, or sieve it. If you're, you know, a more patient cook than me, you might want to sieve it. I'm not patient. I'm not patient. I hate faffing around. Dreadful. So here we go. Take the rings off. and then grab a little teaspoonful, and then just very gently, and it's quite oily. If you can see that, you can see all the oil coming out. So that's all the lovely coconut oil, which is so good for you. Yeah, here we go, lovely. And then let's just drop that in there and literally roll it around like that. And there you go. And then the next thing you need to do is just do that for the whole mixture. Put them on a plate, put them in the fridge to get nice and cold. And then they're ready for whenever you want to eat them. And the brilliant thing about these too is you can freeze them. So say you sort of, you know, again, you're a very organised person, you decide you really like these, and you've got people coming to stay or something over Christmas, you're having a party, you can start making them now, freeze them, and have them ready when people are coming. So there you are. They are chocolate, orange, ginger and chocolate truffles. Enjoy.